Welcome to Monday midday sports with Rod. On this crazy Monday, it's definitely been a crazy weekend. I got my regular on here, Chris Dietz of Fifth Down Sports. How are you doing today?
Doing great, man. It was definitely a wild weekend of football, as we always have.
So man, let's get straight to it, man. Some upsets, college football wise. Let's go into it, Dietz. Give me a couple ones. You were really shocked. Your mouth was dry. You said, "How did this shit happen?"
A couple of the upset. One of them's not even an upset, but we're gonna talk about Alabama, Tennessee a lot, but the biggest game of the weekend, the biggest thing that changed college football this weekend, it doesn't seem anybody's talking about it, but Kyle Whittingham, coach of Utah, and the stones he had to go for two to knock USC out. That was one of the most amazing calls I've seen. That game was awesome. Cam Rising's the real deal. Like, Utah played so well, and it wasn't an upset because Utah was the favorite to win. But still, to knock USC and people act like, oh, that game didn't matter. No, that game mattered because if USC had won, we'd be talking about an undefeated. The only way a Pac-12 team makes the playoff is if they're undefeated. Well, now there's no more undefeated teams. Goodbye to the Pac-12 season's over as far as the playoffs concerned. That was the most meaningful game of the weekend.
I really wasn't expecting him to really go for it.
That was the most meaningful game of the weekend.
I wasn't expecting that at all.
I knew it. Once they scored there, and the way that game was going, they knew. And Utah knew if we get into overtime, it's just going to be score. So they said, well, you know what? Let's just not even try it. If they stop us, they win the game. If we score, we win the game. And that's the way it's supposed to be. And it was a great call. And of course, Cam Rising just showed how much of a real deal he is. So
this is another question for you, Deets. We're going to get back to the subject at hand, but you think it's a possibility that Vanderbilt can go down one level in Division I? Because every year I get tired of watching them getting beat like piñatas.
No, they can't. The SEC can't lose. The SEC can't lose Vanderbilt. They can't afford to lose the academic. They can't afford to lose the academics that they get from Vanderbilt. I mean, otherwise you're talking about the SEC and they're going to have the GPA of the SEC goes down significantly.
Man, that scorching of 55 points though, Deets. Not even
Vanderbilt's not a football. And the other thing is the other sports. The other sports that Vanderbilt has, you could say the same thing. You could say the same thing about every other team in the SEC when you talk about baseball. When you talk about SEC baseball, Vanderbilt is far and above everybody else, and it's not even close. So, yeah, we know football. We know football and basketball drive college sports. But when you look at every other sport, Vanderbilt is, like I said, baseball, they're leaps and bounds above everybody else.
Man, it's definitely a good weekend, man, for college football.
But how about we said it last week? We said it at the end of the show last week, so we got to bring it up at the beginning of this one.
Go ahead.
Blake Corum's Heisman campaign continues.
What about that 41? What about that 41 shellacking? What you call gave Penn State a good Penn State defense. A lot of people sleep on.
And they're still and Michigan's still running up and down the field on them right now. But to this point right now, I assume that they are. 400 yards rushing. That was a monster performance by Michigan. And I don't understand the Michigan. I don't understand the hatred for Michigan that everybody's showing.
Can we say this? I think me and you could got at least 3 yards how big those holes were.
Oh, they dominate. That Michigan offensive line just dominated Penn State. And I said it on Fifth Down when we were breaking down this game. I said what Penn State does well on defense is not what Michigan. It's the complete opposite. Like Penn State has one of the best defensive back. They have probably the best defensive backs in the country. But the problem is Michigan ain't going to throw the ball. They're just going to run it down their throat, and that's what they did. And Michigan showed to me that they're the best team in the Big Ten. They're the team to beat in the Big Ten.
Hey, but Deets, I'm thinking this Illinois team is the gap and bounds there from last year to now, man. They're looking really good, man. Illinois, I don't feel like they get enough love.
By far, Illinois is the most improved team, and they're gonna see either Ohio State or Michigan nobody else wants to win nobody else wants to win the East apparently, or the West. Nobody else wants to win the Big 12 West, the Big 10 West. It's going to come down to Illinois and Purdue because Wisconsin's a joke. Mm-hmm. Iowa's going to get absolutely throttled this weekend because I mean, Ohio State, Iowa heads to Ohio State and Iowa can't score. Iowa can't score. If you can't score, you can't compete with Ohio State.
Last week, did we talk about the quarterback play of Iowa? I really.
It's bad. It's bad. It's bad this year. It's a down year. It's a down year for Iowa. They can't run. They can't run the football. When Iowa can't run the football, they can't play. They can't play offense. So
same thing for Wisconsin, Nebraska. That's the bread and butter. Running the ball.
If you can't run the ball, you can't win. You can't win in those places, and that's just how it is. So in the West, you're looking at Illinois. Like I said, it's going to come down to Illinois and Purdue. It's going to come down to Illinois and Purdue, but it's really just who wants to get beat up in the Big Ten championship game.
But you know, was another. I watched a little glimpse of the game. Iowa State versus Texas. That was a hell of a game. That was a great game.
Another great Big 12. The Big 12 is having some good matchups. Right now, if you're one of these people that wants chaos in college football, the Big 12 is your spot. And the team you've got to start rooting for is TCU.
And they can score quick.
You need TCU to stay undefeated. That's the only way we get controversy That's the only way we get controversy at the end of this season. I said it. I'm gonna say it this Thursday. This season, I know they already said they're going to expand to 8 teams. This season is proof that expansion is a load of crap. There's only 5 teams. There's only 5 teams that are in it right now. There's only 5 teams that are legit playoff teams. If you expand this playoff to 8, this is the season that you're going to point to and say there's no reason to have 8 teams in the playoff. The 8 teams don't exist.
Hey, Christy, do you think the Auburn coach get fired?
Who?
In the next couple, the Auburn's head coach. It's
his first year. I think Auburn. I mean, I've said it. Auburn's a disaster right now. But this is what Auburn does. I mean, Auburn, they have great seasons, then they have absolutely terrible seasons. I mean, just ask Gene Chizik. He won a championship, and then the next season they were god awful. So this is what Auburn does. It'll come down to what it'll come down to is how they look in the Iron Bowl, and if they get absolutely trounced in the Iron Bowl, then you're on the hot seat. But if I'm not a fan of I'm never a fan of if it. I mean, this is a guy's first year, so all right. If you have a bad first year, I'm not canning you after 1 year. I got to give guys, especially in college, you got to give guys a chance to get their system employed, get their players in. Because we got to understand a lot of guys from Auburn transferred. So this coach has to get his player, has to recruit his players. So year 2 and year 3, if you're not winning by year 3, then we can say, all right, let's make a change. But off one, we're not. I'm not a fan of making a change off 1 year.
What about you know what I mean? I feel like Ole Miss should definitely get a decent bowl game. You know what I mean? A real high level bowl game. Lane Kiffin's coaching good.
The Ole Miss is in the exact same boat that Tennessee was just in.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't beat Alabama, then it does. Then everything that they've done doesn't matter. Right? Nothing matters. If they don't beat Alabama, then you can kiss the season goodbye. So great, Ole Miss. I mean, no one loves Lane Kiffin more than I do. I love Lane Kiffin as a coach. I love watching him on the field. But if you don't beat Alabama, you're not going anywhere. And that's gonna be the point of this, of everything that we look at. As I just said, playoff expansion. They want to expand to 8 teams. If you look at this season, if Tennessee's Tennessee and Georgia, whoever loses that game, all right. If it's Tennessee, if their one loss is to Georgia, how are you going to keep them out of an 18 playoff? If Mississippi's only loss is to Alabama, how are you going to keep them out of an 18 playoff? And this is the problem with expanding to an 18 playoff. You're going to have 2 teams in Tennessee, and I'm just speculating. It could be either one. Georgia's only loss could be to Tennessee. Georgia could be in that boat. I mean, Alabama would have 2 losses, so that doesn't count to them. But if that scenario were to happen, you would have 2 teams that didn't even play in their conference championship game, and they would be playoff bound. And the teams that played in the SEC championship game are at a disadvantage compared to those teams. So this is why playoff expansion makes no sense. This season is proof of it.
Definitely is, Deets. What else did you see that, man? Any coaching you feel like somebody shit the bed this weekend that you feel like should get a coaching, a talking to?
Well, I mean, we've already said this, and I said this. I'm not making a change after 1 year, but
no, not a change, but
Marcus Freeman, 3 losses at Notre Dame. You lost to Stanford. The boosters are pulling him aside and saying we can't have this. This ain't Notre Dame football. This is Notre Dame. You can't be losing to Stanford. You can't be losing at home to Marshall.
Yeah.
Like we can take the loss to open the season against Ohio State. But you can't be losing these games. So Yeah, Marcus Freeman's in trouble. He's in trouble already.
Yeah, that's you can't have that. You cannot have that at all. Yes, man. Let's get to the big news, man. Deets, I'm sorry to say it. I know you up them parts, but I got some Zappe fever, man. I really don't want Mac to come back anytime soon. Am I messed up to say that? I like the flow of the offense better.
In Dallas.
No, I'm talking about Bailey Zappe in New England.
Oh, Bailey Zappe. Oh, absolutely. Bailey Zappe is I told you the Patriots will be fine with Bailey Zappe. Bailey Zappe will be fine. He'll do just fine in New England.
But I like how he moved in the pocket. He looked like, I'm sorry to say this, but he kind of give me like a Drew Brees type feel in the pocket. Not as like Drew Brees with the arm, but the presence of moving in the pocket, not rushing, just being calm. You understand what I mean? He gives me them kind of vibes.
Yeah, and the parallels is the reason why I had the question, why I asked the question. The parallels between the Patriots and the Dallas Cowboys right now, the parallels are exactly the same. Mac Jones, when Mac Jones comes back, Mac Jones is going to be the starting quarterback for the Patriots. Why? Because we've seen Mac Jones win games. We've seen Mac Jones win games that the Patriots should not have won, and the only reason they won is because Mac Jones played absolutely outstanding. We haven't seen that from Bailey Zappe. We haven't seen the game put on Bailey Zappe's shoulders yet, and that's what it comes down to. And I talked about this. I talked about this on Fifth Down on Thursday night. I talked about this. Football is about adversity. It's not about how you play when you're ahead. It's about how you play when you're behind. When you're in a spot where you have to make the play. That's where quarterbacking comes in. Where you have to make the play. Can you make the play that you have to make? And that's what it comes down to with these backup quarterbacks. Is everybody gets enamored with, the backup, we're winning with the backup. Okay. You're winning with the backup, but you're not winning because of the backup. You're winning because the team is stepping up around him. And that's until we see Bailey Zappe take control of the game and you see him throw for 300 yards and 5 touchdowns, and that's when you'll know, all right, this guy, this is his chance. Now, is Bailey Zappe capable of that? Absolutely, he is. Anybody that wants to challenge that, go watch Western Kentucky play football last year, and that was Bailey Zappe at his best. Now, we're not going to see that in the NFL because that's not the way the Patriots are going to play. That's not the Patriots aren't designed to throw the football 50 times a game. They're just not.
But one can say this, man. I was on Bill's heels about his drafting ability, but he got some good players this year, man.
Oh, Bill can draft. Bill drafts every other position except wide receiver. Every other position, Bill drafts. If Bill drafts anybody but a wide receiver, I'm like, all right, that guy's a good pick.
Hey, Deets,
he just can't draft wide receiver. He doesn't know what a wide receiver is, apparently.
Deets, I feel like we're gonna beat the curse this year with Taquan Thornton. I feel like he's gonna be a good player, a solid player.
I hope.
I think he's already better than N'Keal Harry to me already. He's already better than N'Keal Harry already to me.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, N'Keal Harry is just, he can't get on the field and he can't catch a football. I don't know what it is with him. Because this is a guy who You're talking about a guy in N'Keal Harry who was the best wide receiver in college football, and it wasn't even a question. He was the best, and now he can't catch a pass. So it's something mental with him. It's maybe he needs a change of scenery. Maybe he needs somebody else in his ear. But I don't know what it is. It's got to be mental. It's not physical. It's got to be mental.
But I'm telling you, Taquan Thornton off that jet sweep, you gotta look at it. He was gone. You know what I mean? If we can do some things like that, I like that double pass. Like Matt Patricia is going on me as offensive coordinator. Like I can see why this guy is what he got a NASA engineer degree. This guy is a smart guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And Matt Patricia as the offensive coordinator, this is a guy who started as a defensive coordinator. He was a defensive coordinator.
Right.
Went to Detroit, had the disaster of a head coach, and then they brought him back, and now they make him the offensive coordinator. He's a smart. Matt Patricia's a smart guy. He's just not a head coach, and he just got saddled with being in Detroit. I mean, Detroit is a disaster. Anybody who goes to Detroit is an absolute disaster.
But, man, let's move on, man. What happened with the 49ers in Atlanta, man? What happened with that?
Curse. The 49ers got hit with the curse. I'm telling you right now, the curse is real. The West Coast, a West Coast team traveling east and playing a 1:00 game. Every single time it hits. That is a lock. That is a lock. You can put it in the bank. If you see a West Coast team traveling east playing 1:00, take the East Coast team. The East Coast team is gonna win that bet every time. It's the reason I took the Falcons this weekend. It's the reason I bet the Falcons. I thought the 49ers would win, but I thought it would be close. And here they are. The Falcons come out and punch them in the mouth. And
you know what I mean? I had this guy, I told him, man, you get too cocky, man. Jimmy G, that fumble, man, it was a lot of bad, you know what I mean, miscues by them players that game, man. And Atlanta even though Marcus Mariota was he not looking like Oregon Marcus Mariota a little bit with the runs?
Marcus Mariota looked like he looked like it was 2016. Marcus Mariota. I mean, this is a guy. He's turning the clock. He turned the clock back, and that the thing about Marcus Mariota is he can do that. He can do that for one game.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, next week Marcus Mariota will be back to being 2022 Marcus Mariota. I guarantee he'll be back to doing that next weekend.
You're definitely right. Going against Cincinnati. Cincinnati looked really good over the weekend. The offense looked really good.
Cincinnati, in a game they had to have. Cincinnati, their back was against the wall, and now Cincinnati probably had the best weekend of the year. The Bengals probably had the best weekend out of anybody with the win over New Orleans, and then we talked about front running. Well, there's no bigger front runner than in Baltimore. And what happened and with Baltimore losing, Cincinnati just gained. They just gained the top spot in their division. So Cincinnati had the best weekend out of anybody.
Definitely did, man.
And
man, let's go.
As I said, Lamar Jackson. That game. Anybody that wants that, everybody. We had a big discussion a couple weeks ago about why the Ravens don't want to pay Lamar Jackson. That game last weekend is why Lamar Jackson lost that game. 2 sack fumbles. I mean, you can't do that. And he couldn't. Once the team started going downhill, he couldn't bring him back.
So man, I don't know what's going on with my other camera, but um, it's definitely, man. It was definitely a hell of a week, man. Let's talk about the bad coaching up there in Green Bay, man. What game plan was LaFleur trying to do?
I don't know what
What
I
was
don't know. I don't know what Matt LaFleur. I don't know what Matt LaFleur is trying to do. I don't know what the. I mean, it's from the top down. From the top down, Green Bay has just been awful. I mean, they thought they could get away with, hey, we have Aaron Rodgers and we can get away with garbage wide receivers. Well, you're seeing you can't. You can't get away with it. Aaron Rodgers is not just gonna make everybody better. I and and they can't run the ball and they can't stop the run. And if you can't do those two things, you're not going to win a lot of games. So Green Bay is in trouble.
You know what I mean? Zach Wilson really didn't do nothing extravagant. It was just that running attack.
Brees Hall destroyed people, and I love how a lot of people. Oh, Brees Hall came out of nowhere. No, Brees Hall was the best running back in college football for 4 years straight. So anybody who, when the Jets drafted him, everybody knew this guy was going to make an impact, and that's starting to get its way, and you're seeing what Wilson is. Wilson is not a guy who's going to throw the ball 50 again. We talked about it with Bailey Zappe. It's not about throwing the ball 50 times. It's about being a balanced offense. If you can be a balanced offense, guys like Kyle Wilson are going to look like world beaters.
But how disrespectful is this though? The Jets played man the whole game. That's telling you don't got no receivers can beat us one-on-one.
Exactly.
How disrespectful is that? How disrespectful is that? Somebody play man on you for the whole game.
It tells you all you need to know, and it tells you all you need to know about Sauce Gardner. Yeah. They believe in Sauce Gardner, and again, being a college football guy, this is something we saw at Cincinnati. Everybody knew Sauce Gardner was going to be that guy, and he's a shutdown corner.
But you know what I mean? I hate to throw the wrench in that. But do you think he's after his rookie contract go out? You know what I mean? In the future, you think they're gonna pay him Darrelle Revis type of money?
I think based off the first 6 games, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. Why in 3 years he won't be the best? He still has years to grow, and I think he will be. I think he'll be one of those guys. He'll be one of those guys that if you don't pay him all that money, and you're basically paying him to shut down half the field. He's going to be a guy that the quarterbacks aren't even going to look his way. Like he's going to be that Deion Sanders type guy where you're like, Sauce, don't even come to the huddle. You don't even have to come to the huddle. We know what you're on the right side, and you take whoever your receiver is, you take him, and we'll play the rest of the defense. So you can basically coach 10 guys. You don't even have to coach that 11th guy. You have an 11th guy that he just takes away half the field. That's a huge bonus. So, yeah, I think he's going to get paid Darrelle Revis type money.
Man, I think that was much needed, man. That was a great win. They have a good game. I think they're going to probably, I don't know, man. The Broncos are a big disappointment. Offensively, they can't get it done. So I think the Jets might easily win that game. You know what I mean? Russell Wilson doesn't look like a difference maker right now with that poor offensive line and receivers dropping balls. But their defense is top notch. I'll give it to them. Denver got a great defense with Gregory and Patrick Surtain.
Denver is just a mess. They're a mess. They're a mess on offense. Their coach is a disaster. I don't know. And I mean, how many games is your coach going to cost you a victory? But so I don't even know. Going into this game tonight, I don't know what Denver team's going to show up. I don't know which team is going to show up, and that's a bad sign. So Denver's in trouble, and then they get the Jets next. They get the Jets next week, right?
Yep.
They could be looking down the barrel. I mean, they had the surprise victory over San Francisco, and since then everything has just fallen apart.
Yeah, Ryan, I'm with you, man. I feel like a couple more losses, he's probably definitely gonna be out of there. Walmart don't want to lose nothing.
Your coach can't your coach cannot be the reason. Your coach cannot cost you games. That can't happen. So he's in big trouble.
You know what I feel like, man? Like Eric Minamy get a job, man. He'd be perfect for that offense, man.
You're telling me Eric Bieniemy would be the perfect coach in Denver. Now, would Eric Bieniemy take that job? That's
yeah.
Would he leave Kansas City to go to in the division? That would be something that would be interesting. But you got to remember, Eric Bieniemy's a Colorado guy.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it makes sense.
It would make too much. The thing I've realized covering the NFL, everything that makes too much sense, if it makes too much sense, they're not going to do it.
Yeah. But these over the beginning of the season, man, was you expecting the NFC East to be the best division in the NFC?
The NFC is playing out pretty much the way I thought it was. The only thing that's surprising, the surprising element is the Giants. And I said it at the beginning of the year. I said if the Giants have 5 wins, that would be outstanding for them. Well, they've got 5 wins. So, they're already ahead of where I thought they would be. But I thought that I did not think they would be. I did not think the NFC East was going to be this good. But the problem is it's not really that the NFC East is that good. It's that everybody else is that bad. Every other division is that bad. I mean, I thought the AFC East would be where we are, but they're you know it too well. The Patriots are hurt and not where they are. Miami. We talked about it. I talked about it Thursday night. Miami's just a disaster. Just overall, they just got destroyed by injuries. And by the way, how is Miami Pittsburgh the Sunday night game next week? How is NBC allowing that to happen?
That's crazy.
Why they ever thought that would be a good idea, I have no idea where they came up with that. But and the thing is, they might push Tua to play in that game, and if that happens, all hell's going to break loose.
You know what's going to happen. They don't care about nobody's concussions. They don't care about nobody.
NBC is going to be like, we got nobody. You got to put Tua in this game. You got to start Tua so we have something to promote.
Man, I'm telling you, man. And I think they're going back to Mitch Trubisky, right? Because Kenny Pickett got a concussion, I think, in that Tampa game. So that shall be interesting.
Pittsburgh's at A. And both teams are absolute disasters. But the only thing anybody's going to be watching for is does Tua start? And if he does, people like me, people like all the other all the other people that have been raving against concussions. Everybody's going to be on the edge of what the hell are we doing? Why are you even starting this guy? He should not play the rest of the season.
Nobody really cares, man.
No, they don't care. The bottom line, they don't care about as long as the NBC doesn't care. They want to make money,
and they got to keep them happy because they pay the bills. They got to keep them sponsors. They got to keep them sponsors and the partnerships happy. But man, poor Matthew Stafford, man, that elbow, that Tommy John, serious. That game should have been way worse than that, man. But that shoulder.
It's funny because one of the guys I was watching football with last night. He's a Carolina fan, and he walked in, and I said to him, "What is your team doing?" Like, I think they realized at halftime. They walked in at halftime and were like, "Wait, we can't get the number 1 pick if we win," and they went out and they lost in the second half. Yeah, but I mean, after that pick six was proof that Matthew Stafford can't throw the ball. He can't throw the ball. That injury, I mean, just get it done. Like call it a season and go get the surgery now so that you're ready to go next year. And let Sean McVay try to figure it out because right now Matthew Stafford can't push the ball down the field.
Tyler Kingsbury, man, what is he doing? What is he doing? Please break that down to me.
Kingsbury's in trouble. Kingsbury's in trouble. That's the coach that's in trouble right now.
His seat's already hot.
His seat's hot. There's already things that his staff is leaking plays to opponents. There's all sorts of things going on with Arizona and Arizona. Guess what? Yeah, I mean Cliff Kingsbury's on. Kyler Murray's not on the hook because they just inked him up. So what can you do? The only thing you can do is get rid of the coach. That's the only thing you can do right now. But you see how much that team relies on DeAndre Hopkins. So they need to get DeAndre Hopkins back.
Man, I thought Jacksonville was going to pull off the win, man, but
yeah, but look who decided to show up. I mean, Matt
Ryan. He went to 08. He went back to 09, 08.
Yeah, he went back to prior to 28-3. He looked like Matt Ryan before 28-3. That's what he looked like on Sunday, and he's done it the last. This wasn't a one-off for him. He's been doing it the last couple of weeks. That Kansas City game that they won a couple weeks ago was the wake-up call in Indy, and it seems like they're now clicking. And the thing is, they're doing all this without Jonathan Taylor. So
big, which is big. He's like 50% of that, almost 80% of that offense. You know what I mean?
And again, Indianapolis is in a great position where everybody else in their division is falling apart.
No doubt, man. That especially, man. How did you think about Josh Allen, man? Can you? I'm giving him my MVP vote, man. He's a dog.
Look, nobody was a bigger critic of Josh Allen pre-draft, post-draft. Nobody was a bigger critic than I was. And that means now that he's doing his thing, nobody is a bigger fan of Josh Allen. I will promote Josh Allen, and I will say this right now. I was dead wrong. Josh Allen is for real. He has to be the MVP because he leads the team in rushing and he's throwing the ball. That's the one thing the Bills can't do. The Bills have got to stop. You got to stop Josh Allen. Josh Allen can't lead your team in rushing, and you got to stop running the football with him. He's too important to that team.
Because if he goes, it's over with.
Exactly. If he goes, it's over. But they've got to find somebody to run the football. I mean, they have so many running backs there. There's so many running backs there that I don't understand. I don't understand why they can't find guys to run the ball. They got Singletary, Zach Moss. There's so many guys there that can run the football. I don't understand it.
Hey, Jamie G, what about JSU? 6-0, baby. 6-0. Tough game this week with Campbell, though. Tough game with Campbell. Campbell is blowing people out.
We talked about it last week. Man, I would love to see what Jackson State could do.
Man,
I would love to see what they could do. And you know what's happening. What's happening with that is
you see that. Hold up. Did you see that 60 Minutes? What Deion said.
I did not. He was on 60. He was on 60 Minutes.
He said.
He
said any FBS schools entertain me with some big money. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna be interested. I'm gonna look. But
absolutely, he is. It's Deion Sanders. Of course he wants to go to FBS. But what I'm saying is, you look at that. You look at that situation right now. What FBS school is going to want to go play them? There's not a school. No school in their right mind would schedule Jackson State.
You talk about transfers. That's the FCS number one. You know what I mean?
I'm talking about like who they're basically they're basically becoming Appalachian State
of the SWAC, yeah.
From before, where no big school in their right mind is going to bring them in. Is gonna want to play against them.
I'm saying this right now. If you switch FAMU for Jackson State at North Carolina, Jackson State beat them easily. With the defense they got Travis Hunter.
If they played Florida State right now, Jackson State would be the favorite. No doubt in my mind.
Like I really don't understand what they was thinking, man, about Florida State not bringing, not even. You could have got him. He probably took a pay cut to go to Florida State because that's his alma mater. You did a friendly contract. I don't know why you don't do that. That makes sense. Like you said, things that make sense doesn't really make sense, but
things that make sense that's not what happened. They don't do that.
But you know what I mean? He already dominating Texas recruiting in Florida right now. You're getting all of them Florida kids at Jackson State. He's getting, you know what I mean? It makes sense. He got just imagine what kind of coaching staff he could do with a budget like that Florida State got. He got Tim Brewster at Jackson State. Who does that? You know what I mean? Who does that?
I said this on Facebook Saturday night. Watching it. Does anyone want to play defense in Florida? Does any college want to play defense in Florida? I mean, Miami doesn't play defense anymore. No. Florida State doesn't play defense. They got absolutely throttled by Clemson, and I know Clemson didn't score in the second half, but they didn't have to because they scored 28 points in like 4 minutes at the end of the second half, at the end of the second quarter. And it was just an absolute disaster. Florida State doesn't play defense anymore. Florida LSU, that was a joke. LSU was just knifing through the Gators defense. Like, watching that, does anyone want to play defense in the state of Florida? Because it was absolutely disgusting.
And I thought Miami would get it back to their defense away with their head coach, but that's not happening.
I mean, Miami has tried this. They've tried this. They've tried this on so many occasions. They, brought Manny Alvarez in, a defensive coach. They brought Cristobal in, who, yes, he's an offensive coach, but he's an offensive line coach. He knows defense is what they need, and none of these teams can play defense. It's disgusting.
Hey, I'm sorry to say this. I'm gonna give him another year, Cristobal, to see can he get it. But if not, why not give Ed Reed been sitting there as an analyst for 30 years? Give him a shot. Let him bring Ray and see what they could do. Reggie Wayne's coach of receivers at the Colts. Let Reggie Wayne be the receiver coach and build that talent thing back up. Because it's a sad. You know what I mean? I'm only 30, but I remember Miami winning and having good defense and having good running backs running the ball. What happened to them days?
That's exactly what I was thinking of. I was like, look at those Miami teams: Jonathan Vilma, Vince Wilfork, Sean Taylor, Ed Reed. Hey, you go down the list. All those guys were great. They had great defenses, and you have no defenses in any of those teams. I mean, you even look at the Florida Gators. Why were the Gators national champions under Urban Meyer? Yes, they had Tim Tebow, but they also had you look at all the defensive players that went on to the NFL.
Both Pouncey boys on that line. Both Pouncey boys was on the offensive line.
Pouncey's on the offensive line, but you had defenses that got after the quarterback. You had defensive backs like Ahmad Black and you had linebackers in Florida. Like, everybody loves to talk about how Urban Meyer's a great offensive coach. No, those defenses were absolutely lights out. That's why they were
great linebacker play too. Like you said, great linebacker play. Oh man. Hey,
that's a great joke. They did have a killer tight end.
Hey man, Raz, let my man go, man. Aaron Hernandez.
They did.
He was definitely a freak. I still think about that, man. If he didn't get in trouble, we could have had the best two tight ends in the league, man. If he never got in trouble, that's been ungodly. Both of them on the field together. Because Hernandez.
People don't understand, and it's funny because like people are like, "Oh, he was an NFL guy," but no, he's from Connecticut. I've known Aaron Hernandez. I knew Aaron Hernandez before he made the trip down to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
He was that guy before. He was the same. He was in trouble. He was a troublemaker before he even got down to Florida. Like we knew that. When I read that, I was like, I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked. I knew he was going to be I was like, I knew he was that kind of guy way before. I thought maybe the NFL would straighten him out, and it turns out it just made the problem even worse.
Let's get some quick little baseball talk, man.
Oh,
what about I was not expecting the Phillies to do this. I thought the Braves easily sweep them up.
They took care of the Braves, but you're seeing what baseball is. Baseball in October is about pitching. Phillies have the best pitching staff, and it's about starting pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Dear Los Angeles Dodgers, you can't have your starter go 4 innings and expect your bullpen to get you six innings worth of game. You need starters that can go 6-7 innings. Like that. That's what you need. You need to have that, and that's what the Phillies have. But they're going to run into a juggernaut because San Diego is a beast. And San Diego is doing this without their best player out for PEDs. Imagine how good that team would be.
Say the person name. Who's out for PEDs?
What's it? Fernando Tatis.
Mm-hmm. But Manny's looking good though.
Oh, Manny Machado is an outstanding. I love Manny Machado. He's that guy. He's gonna tell you he's gonna hit a home run. He hits a home run. He's gonna tell you about it after. I love that.
I miss him in that orange though. I miss him in that orange.
Yeah,
that orange and black.
This is why I said this about Baltimore. Like they had it set up, and they were just like, "No, we're good.
We're good.
We're good. We're just gonna let him go."
So who do you think gets it done tonight, man? The Guardians, the Indians, you like to call them, versus Yankees.
I can't. Yeah, I can't say Guardians. No, it's game 5. It's a clinching game at Yankee Stadium. It's the Yankees. And the stat that says this is in clinching games in history, the Yankees are 15-15. Mm-hmm. You want to guess what the Indians' record is?
Oof. I don't know.
1-7.
Jesus.
That says it right. That says enough right there. But I think this game is going to come down to the Yankees got to jump. The Yankees got to jump out. The only way Cleveland is able to win this game is if they jump on the Yankees early. They got to get to the Yankees early. Because the later this game gets, the better the Yankees are going to get.
Do you feel like Houston? You think Houston's going to get it done? Go all the way, or got a chance to go all the way?
I don't see anybody. I don't see anybody stop. No matter who wins tonight, I don't see anybody stopping Houston from getting to the World Series. And the only team I see, the only team that can stop Houston is San Diego, because they're the only team that can bat with them. The Phillies, yes, the Phillies have, as I said, the Phillies have the best pitching, but they can't hit. They can't hit with the Astros can out hit them. So I think the only team that can stop them is San Diego right now. But otherwise, Houston's going to be the ones that we're talking about. And I don't see the Yankees being able to stop them. I don't see. If the Guardians get there, it might be a sweep.
You said it's gonna be a sweep.
A sweep. If the Indians win tonight, it'll be 4 games and Houston will be done. 4 games, Houston will be on to the World Series. I don't see any way that the Indians can hang with the Astros. The Yankees might be able to get them to 6 games, but I don't see anybody stopping the Astros right now.
I really don't see it either. I think that's the game I'm watching tonight because I'm not watching Monday Night Football. It's not even worth my time.
No, Monday Night Football is going to be over after the first quarter tonight.
It's not worth my time. Nobody want to watch the Broncos and Chargers. To be honest with you, in that abysmal offensive line
and that Yankee. I mean, it's Yankees Indians. I mean, it's going to be. It just reminds me of Jabba Chamberlain and going back to all those series that they've had.
And let's go over the NBA real quick, man. You see that big payday Jordan Poole got?
Yeah,
$40 million for 4 years with that extension. Does that seem like the
Warriors are taking it? The Warriors are taking advantage, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. Yeah. That's it. Like. I get it. Like, all right, the NBA has their luxury tax or whatever. You think the Warriors care about a luxury tax? They have $1 billion stadium. They just built a $1 billion stadium. You think they care about paying 50 to 100 million in luxury tax? You think they care? No, they don't. They don't give a damn. They don't give a damn.
You see how many
guys on the roster? They can pay. They can pay anybody. They can pay anybody as long as they're on their roster. They can pay them.
You know how many number 30 jerseys you see walking around?
Exactly.
I've never seen so many Warriors fans in my life till Steph Curry became a Warrior. You know what I mean? And Clay.
Oh no, you never saw. I mean, how many Tim Hardaway jerseys did you ever see? You never saw. You never saw Tim Hardaway jerseys until he went to Miami.
Yeah.
You never saw a Chris Mullin jersey. You never saw a Mitch Richmond jersey. So again, that's where the Warriors are making bank. They're making their money back. So they can offer these guys contracts like that. And Andrew Wiggins. We could talk about Andrew Wiggins was. I was shocked he didn't get a vote for it. Yes, he wasn't the MVP, but he should have got at least a vote. He was definitely one of the most valuable players in the finals. So he's deserving of that contract. Jordan Poole, I don't know. I mean,
with that defense, you would never have thought had a chance to be this good. I didn't expect that defense. I didn't see that defense in Kansas like he's doing now. You know what I mean? He's developing it to maybe an all-star level.
No, because he doesn't have to be, because he's in a position where he doesn't have to be the scorer.
Mm-hmm.
His role is not a drop 30, because you don't have to focus on defense and make buckets when you get the ball. That change. Andrew Wiggins he is that kind of guy. You look at what he was at Kansas. He was the leading scorer. He comes into Cleveland and they have nobody but him. Then they ship him off to Minnesota, where he's got to be the scorer in Minnesota. He goes to Golden State. He doesn't have to be the scorer because you have Clay, you have Steph, you have all these other guys that can score. All we need you to do is play lockdown defense and make shots make open shots when you get the ball. And that's what he's doing. And with a guy like that, he can do that. He can do that whenever he wants.
And you know what I mean? I think this is a great move by, you know what I mean, giving him his money, Clay, because I don't feel like he's going to play much longer. I'm saying like another year or two, because he's not the same Clay. You know what I mean? I feel like he set himself already where he's a Hall of Famer, first ballot. So it's nothing else for him really to prove. You know what I mean? He's one of the best scorers of all time, Clay. 3-point shooters of all time. You know what I mean? Your legacy is already submitted. What else do you need to do?
Cool. For Clay, it comes down to health.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I don't see his health staying much longer, especially that knee. He doesn't move the same. You know what I mean? That knee.
No, he definitely looks. He's definitely looked different since that Toronto knee injury, and I mean, it's different. The NBA is, and basketball is just different. As far as Hall of Fame, is Clay a Hall of Fame player? Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer in terms of the NBA, because everybody gets into the Basketball Hall of Fame.
But I feel like, in the same note, I think the MLB got us. Springfield got a, not Springfield. What's the Hall of Fame?
Springfield. Right? It's in Springfield, Massachusetts.
The Baseball Hall of Fame. What's the Baseball Hall?
Oh, the baseball's in Cooperstown.
Coopertown. Let Pete Rose get in. Let Barry Bonds get in. Please.
Well, Well, Pete Rose. No, see, I'll battle you back on that. Pete Rose should not be. Pete Rose should not be in the Hall of Fame.
He shouldn't.
And the reason why, the only reason why he should not be in the Hall of Fame is because Pete Rose decided he didn't want to be in the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose traded his Hall of Fame for this is where people get lost on this. Mm-hmm. Pete Rozelle went to Pete Rose and said, "Here's the deal. We have all the information. We can leak it out, or you can sign this that says you're never getting in." And Pete Rose decided to sign that. That was Pete Rose's decision.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah, right. Pete Rose decided that he would stick with the lie. Pete Rozelle went to him and said, "Look, if you want to keep lying, we have all the information, and we'll leak everything out." And Pete Rose said, "No, I don't want that coming out." That's why he signed his Hall of Fame career away.
Hey, but
and then when Pete Rose decided I can make money off this, that's when he decided to come clean. Well, by that point, nobody was ever going to reverse that situation. So, yeah, So Pete Rose signed his life. He signed his Hall of Fame away. Look, when Pete Rose is no longer on this earth, then he can get a statue in the Hall of Fame.
Hey, Deets, but to listen to that man, I was watching. I think it might have been MLB Network or something. To listen how he switched his stance, his hands on the bat. That man was a genius at hitting, man. I saw some of his videos.
As a player, absolutely. Pete Rose, as a player, there's nothing that keeps him. I mean, everything you want to put in there, the hitting, the running the catcher over in the All-Star game, like all of that. Pete Rose is a Hall of Famer, no doubt. But when you sign on the dotted line to give it, when you gave it away. It was your choice. Like there's no one to blame. There's no one to blame for this except for Pete Rose. He's the only one to blame.
Another thing before we get out of here, man, do you think Reggie Bush gets his Heisman back, man? Give that man his Heisman.
Give him his Heisman. I mean, look at everything that goes on at USC. USC is. I was watching the game this weekend, and I watched the games on YouTube. So I had the California stream for that game. Do you realize how corrupt USC has been for not even the sporting realm of the dean of the school is giving money to political candidates and trying to grease, like USC is such. They're such gangsters when it comes to all that. So should they give? I don't even know. Does he even have the trophy? Like, give him his trophy back. Like, everybody knows he was the best player in college football that year.
No,
like, everybody knows it.
Because when I saw Saquon Barkley jump over at the goal line, you know what I thought about? I thought about Reggie Bush.
The Bush.
Him and Liddell White just tearing things up. I miss them days.
I miss them too, and that's one of the things about USC. Like, watching that game this weekend in Utah, I was like, all right, USC is back to being watchable again. This is awesome. But then you have to look at it. How did they get there? Oh, all these guys transferred into USC. Like, USC will be back when they're recruiting again, and they have one of the top recruit. Like, how they don't have a top recruiting class, I don't understand. Like, you can get anybody you want in California. They should have every California player.
Mm-hmm. So this Tuesday is the beginning of the NBA regular season.
Yeah.
Are you going to take a glance at Philly and Boston and Golden State and Lakers. You gonna give it a glance Tuesday?
I'm telling you right now, the team to watch in the Eastern Conference is playing on Friday night. It's good. It's going to be interesting. But watch out for Miami.
What are you seeing that gives you that information that they're going to be a dangerous team?
I mean, Boston. I don't. Who knows what Boston's going to be with everything, with all the chaos that's going on there. I mean, hopefully, as a Celtics fan, hopefully the team can just put all that behind them and just play ball. Because Boston on the court, Boston should be up there. But we know how Boston play. We know how Boston is. They're up and down. They're up and down all the time. I'm really scared of that Miami team, though. I'm not scared of Philly. I'm not scared of Brooklyn. As everybody calls them, the Brooklyn mess. I mean, Brooklyn's a disaster. They're a disaster waiting to happen. Yeah, Philly. I don't trust the 76ers. I don't trust any other team. You know, the Bulls had a great year. I think the Bulls were great last year, but I think they were a year ahead. And sometimes for young teams, that can either be a springboard or it can be a detriment. So, I'm really worried. I'm really worried about that. You know, I'm worried about what they're going to be this year. I don't think the Bulls are going to be as good as they were last year. So I think the East is up for grabs, and that the team to watch is Miami.
Yeah, I agree with you a little bit. I had to see as the season starts, man. The East is always a toss up for me. But what do you have coming up this weekend? This week, Chris Eats.
This week, obviously we're going to be talking about the three big games, which we talked about earlier. So we'll be breaking down Michigan's win over Penn State. Why that's so important, what that means. We'll be talking about Utah's win over USC and how that changed the college football season. And of course, we'll be talking about TCU and whether TCU has a chance to break in. And as I told you before we went on the air, everybody's making a big deal about Alabama lost it. It's such a big deal that Alabama lost to Tennessee. I'm going to open the show with why that was a great win for Tennessee, but it means absolutely nothing. It is an absolute nothing win. Enjoy it, but it means nothing.
Deeks, when it gets to the end of the season, I want us to do some players are you feel like that we feel that are first round picks, breaking down some second round picks, quarterback, running back, and wide receiver.
Absolutely. We're always watching. The NFL draft is one of my favorite things. It's my favorite time of year. So every game I'm watching, I'm looking at NFL prospects. And I know you like your FCS. Dude, Shaq Davis is an absolute monster.
And, you know what I mean? While we on that note real quick, Shaq Davis, and I'm still on, I'm still on the Everett, Kamari Everett train. I just feel like Jalen Jones, you know Jalen Jones from Florida. It's just that they should run the same offense like the Ravens run.
Mm-hmm.
Like Andrews open, but they're not doing that. But I think Kamari Everett will be a hell of a tight end in the NFL.
Yep.
He's a big body receiver.
Yeah, the way these NFL teams are going, absolutely, he'll be a tight end in the NFL.
Could you imagine if he can fall to like Kansas City? Somebody 6'8", another 6'8", 6'7", tight ends on both sides.
You just put him on the goal line, put him outside. That's also going to be. You talked about my show, and we talked about the goal line. I don't understand. I don't understand. It's going to be one of the biggest things I talk about opening the show this week. The worst thing I saw this week. How many teams go first and goal at the 2-yard line and they throw fades? Run the damn ball. You're at the first and goal at the 2-yard line should be a running play every time.
I think your boy is going to give up on Zeke soon, man. I don't know how you feel about that. I feel like they're going to get rid of him.
I mean, they're not getting. Oh, they're not getting. The Cowboys. What are you doing with Zeke? What are you doing with Zeke Elliott? Why are you running a toss sweep with Zeke Elliott? Run between and then the next play come back with Tony Pollard over right guard. They do it exactly opposite.
Mm-hmm.
You run the sweep with Pollard because he's faster, and you run Zeke up the middle because he can take the banging. Why are you trying to reinvent the wheel? Like it doesn't make any sense. Sometimes people try to get too smart. They try to get too smart, and we're gonna trick them. No, you're not tricking anybody by taking your best guy and making him do something he's not supposed to do.
Do you have any anglement that any chance? I feel like Dak's coming back. Gotta come back.
Oh, Dak's coming back. I mean, you saw the game. You saw the game last night.
Come back.
You saw the game last night. It's exactly what I said. They put the game in. I mean, the Cowboys had a chance. The Cowboys had a chance to take the lead in that game. CeeDee Lamb is running wide open. Nobody's near him. And Cooper Rush's throw was at least 5 yards short and 5 yards to the middle of the field, and it gets intercepted. If that throw is up the sideline, CeeDee Lamb's still running, and the Cowboys have the lead, and that game's totally different.
I got to give a lot of props to Darius Slay Jr. I think he's senior. I know he got a little junior, but anyway, Darius Slay, he's up there for the top 5 corners, I think, in the league.
Darius Slay played well. He played great, and I've said on the radio where is Darius Slay? Darius Slay showed up. Fine, he finally showed up. So,
and I was taught. I have a lot of Cowboys fans at my job. Oh, they not nothing to beat us. Our defense y'all defense top 10, but they can't be on the field all the time. You can't have 3 and outs.
No,
expect a defense to be great.
You can't have one. You can't have one play interceptions. Like you can't do that. When you're a defensive team, you have to stay on the field. You have to play to punt. I mean, you have to play. Hey, if we have to try to get a first down, and if we have to punt the ball, we'll punt the ball, pin the team deep. Like that's how you have to play. That's how you have to play. The Cowboys are not there yet, and that's why the Cowboys are where they are, and that's why when Dak comes back, Dak will be the quarterback. But what I'm hoping is that Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy have learned we need to run the ball even when Dak comes back.
Do you feel like it's a possibility that Mike can get some votes for defensive MVP? You think it's Michael Parsons? Do you think it's a possibility he can get in that race?
For defensive MVP, he might. It's going to depend on where the Cowboys finish up. Right now, I don't see a better defensive player than Micah Parsons. And if you want to tell me somebody's having a better season than him right now, I haven't seen him. But I mean, if you're talking MVP, the defensive MVP is over in New York. It's Dexter Lawrence.
Mm.
Because there's no reason why the Giants should be as good as they are, except for the fact that Dexter Lawrence is eating people.
What about what? Let me throw another name out there. What about Von Miller? He's a different player. I see a difference in that Bill team with him.
Yeah, I just don't. As far as valuable player,
Mm-hmm.
Von Miller's definitely made that defense better. But that defense was already good before he got there. Yeah. He's taking them to that next level.
I think the Bills definitely a Super Bowl contender. Not a pretender, a contender to make it out there.
Absolutely, the Bill right now. I don't care. You can call me a hater. Most people will. I don't care that Philadelphia is undefeated. The Buffalo Bills are the best team in football right now. In the NFL, the Buffalo Bills are the best team.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about undefeated to me. The Buffalo Bills they've looked the best. They've beaten 3 of the best. They've already beaten. They beat the Ravens. They beat the Chiefs, and they beat the Rams. And guess what? They've done all 3 of those on the road.
Yeah, on the road. Also, I'm hearing rumblings that Von Miller's openly been recruiting Odell to come just for another ride at Buffalo.
Yeah, Odell. I mean, but Odell won't be back until next year. So
yeah, I think he should sit out too. I think he should definitely sit out. But
he won't be back. He won't be in any kind of football shape. He won't be any. I mean, I've had that surgery. It's a full year recovery.
And it's another thing. I gotta say this. I need my boy Matthew Judon to get an All-Pro this year. The catalyst are for our defense. He got to get an All-Pro vote this year, man. What do you feel about that, Deets? I think he should get an All-Pro vote, man.
That's gonna be. I've said this. I don't know what the Pro Bowl is I don't know what the Pro Bowl is anymore. But All Pro. I mean, that All Pro is hard to make it into defense.
I think he got 12 last year. I'm thinking he's getting 16 this year. I'm thinking he's going to get 16. Bill and I won't get 16.
But I mean, where are you going? I mean, where are you going to put him on the all? I mean, if you're talking All Pro team, I mean, Micah Parsons is going to be there. Von Miller is going to be there. Mm-hmm. Who are you taking off? Who are you taking off the All Pro team to put him on? I mean, defensive line. Defensive line. I mean, Nick Bosa is gonna get some votes in there. Yeah, obviously the insiders. You're gonna get Dexter Lawrence and Fletcher Cox for All Pro.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's not even mentioning Aaron Donald.
You're right about that.
Defensive line is loaded right now.
Do you have a feeling that Kellen Moore? What's the possibility Kellen Moore getting fired and then bringing somebody else in as offensive coordinator with your Cowboys?
Kellen Moore's not getting fired. That's not going to happen. Jerry's not that way. Kellen Moore is on short lists of he'll probably get a head coaching job at it. I mean, he'll probably get a head coaching job.
Where?
I would not be shocked if he got a head coaching job.
I don't think he's ready for that.
I don't think he's ready either, but I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if he's going to get a head coaching job. And you know what the Cowboys are doing. Everybody knows what the Cowboys are doing. They're waiting out this season. They're probably going to wait out next season. And then Sean Payton's coming in.
I saw him on, I think it was Fox NFL Talk. I forgot the name of it. But anyway, it looked like he wants to coach again.
Sean Payton does, and he's just waiting out his contract. He's got to wait out. I think he has to wait till 24 to get out. Otherwise, anybody that signs him has to give the Saints some kind of compensation. But after 24, when all of that's gone, he'll have a job. He'll have a job immediately.
So on that note, what coordinators do you feel like are ready to make that stop? I think Brian Leftwich could be a good head coach.
No.
You don't think so?
No. Byron Leftwich? No, because you lost to the Steelers.
What about college ranks? Do you feel like he'd be a good college head coach?
Like I opened the show with last week. I'm glad Nebraska's new head coach. I'm glad their new head. Matt Rule is going to be in Nebraska. I'm absolutely positive of that. That if that doesn't happen, I'll be absolutely shocked. But as far as NFL coordinating guys, I mean, it all starts and ends with Eric Bieniemy. Mm-hmm. Wherever Eric Bieniemy wants to go, he needs to go. I've said Carolina needs to make that call immediately, and because they're the only opening right now. But it like you said, if Denver opens up, there's no question Eric Bieniemy would be perfect fit. He's the perfect fit. With Carolina opening up, Ken Dorsey opens up. Even though Ken Dorsey, I know it's his first year being an offensive coordinator, but Carolina did give him his first coaching job. Mm-hmm. That's how he broke into it. So it would make sense for Ken Dorsey to get the head coaching job in Carolina. Mm-hmm. I could see him. I could see the coordinator in Minnesota, offensive coordinator in Minnesota getting a job.
What about the four? I feel like that defensive coordinator. I feel like he's gonna get a call from somewhere.
Which defensive coordinator?
At 49ers.
And
DeMarco something.
Again, I think it's. I think he's a young. Obviously he took over in a pre-made defense, and we're seeing what Salah's done with the Jets. That was pre-made for him. So I that's the only question I would have about taking the 49ers defensive coordinator, making him a head coach, is that everything was pre-made. It's not like he jumped. It's not like he came in and took over, a horrible defense and all of a sudden made them great. Like the structure was already there. When you're getting a head coach, when you're looking for a head coach, usually it means your team is in need of rebuilding. So you need guys who can build, not guys who just take the same structure and do it. So I need to see more before I vault him to a head coaching position. But
you know what I feel like we're not gonna keep long, man. I feel like somebody gonna call Gerard Mayo to be a defensive coordinator somewhere in the NFL. I feel like he's not gonna be there much longer.
Gerard Mayo would make a great defensive coordinator. I think he would be a great defensive coordinator somewhere. I mean, you look at this guy. He played under Bill. Mm-hmm. Played middle linebacker under Bill, so he called out the signals. He knows everything that's going on. And look at everybody. I mean, look at what Flowers did in Miami. Like that's you learned from the best. Mm-hmm. And that's another guy that deserves another job. That's out there. Flower. The old Miami coach.
Oh, Flores?
Yes, Flores.
Yeah. I
don't think he'll ever get another job just because he sued the NFL. But
Oh, the man of the hour. Why?
Oh, look who it is.
What's going on?
What up, Wise?
Nothing much, brothers. How y'all doing?
Good.
We were just talking about your boy Dexter Lawrence.
Oh, how he's killing it? How my boy killing it? That's what you talking about?
Hey, when I saw y'all defense do that, man, gave me flashback wise.
Listen, Dexter Lawrence, whose quarterback did he ran down? Was it what was it? Game the first game? Who did we first game?
He ran down Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, Tannehill smacked the ball out the hand.
Yo, he's a freak. He's a freak.
Listen, they got problems with that line, man. That defensive line is gonna be real good.
Hey, Wise, Brian Davidoff, he got big balls. He doesn't care about anybody. His play calling, I love his play calling.
Dallas definitely has the best player in all of football right now in Micah Parsons. But I just my defense is as it goes on, man. I feel like they're just gonna get better. And we're doing it with injury. Like I don't think Ojulari played yesterday.
And I love it when y'all go to Wildcat too. With Saquon. That's crazy.
Saquon's the only running back in the NFL to get over 70 yards every game. So,
and he's looking healthy, man. He was looking healthy.
That was the best. That was the key, man. That was the key is to get Saquon back healthy. But Deets, your boys get Dak back.
As long as Dak can throw, as long as he can throw. I mean, we saw it last night. Cooper Rush. If he throws that ball to the sidelines and gets it to CeeDee Lamb, that game is totally different. But nope. He threw it 5 yards short and 5 yards to the right, and it got picked. But if he hits CeeDee Lamb and CeeDee Lamb takes, because there's nobody within 20 yards of CeeDee Lamb.
Do you think Dak makes that throw?
I think Dak's a taller guy. I think he's able to stand in there. I mean, I know Brandon Graham put a big hit on Cooper Rush, but Cooper Rush felt that. Mm-hmm. I don't think Dak would have felt that. I think Dak definitely has a stronger arm than Cooper Rush. He would have gotten the ball out there.
But the AFC East is the best right now.
The NFC East is the best conference in football. It's the best division in football.
Yes,
right now. Not even close.
There's no division like this.
Despite Washington being Washington.
I think with them going back to Taylor Heineke is going to help them.
Oh, they're going back. They made the move.
They better make that move. There should be no question about making that move. If you want,
I like running back the guy too. If you want, Alabama, the one that got shot,
Brian
Robinson, he's back.
Monster.
He's back now.
They got a 3-headed monster at running back.
McKissick, Robinson, and what's his name?
They got Antonio Gibson.
Yes, and Gibson. Yes,
they got Gibson, McKissick, and now if they can get Robinson going, they got a good 3-headed monster. Washington has everything in place.
They have a tight end. They have a tight end.
I mean, they got McLaurin and Samuel at wide receiver. What don't they have? They just their head coach Rivera. He just doesn't run the game. He just doesn't run the game well.
And he doesn't get any in-game adjustments at all.
No. It's all right. Here's the game plan. We're gonna go with it, and if it doesn't work, we're just gonna keep going. Keep going, and they don't change. They never change. And Chase Young. Where the hell is Chase Young?
Is he still hurt? Right.
He's still hurt.
I think he's still hurt. I mean that kills their whole defense. Their defense is built around Chase Young.
It takes away a key element of their defense.
But D said that defense tackle they got from Georgia, he's the real deal for the Eagles. What's that guy's name?
For
Davis.
the Eagles? Oh, Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis.
I don't know why they said he don't got no motor. I saw the motor yesterday.
I don't know who said he doesn't have a motor.
Everybody, even D to all of us, when we spoke about Jordan Davis, we talk about how good he's gonna be. We talk about like he's a difference maker. He's a difference maker at that position.
I mean, you're not seeing much out of Jordan Davis right now because he plays next to Fletcher Cox, and Fletcher Cox is that good.
It's that damn good. But it's gonna be. Listen, it was a hell of a game. Dallas, again, they came up short. But
I mean, I know all these people are like, I know everybody's like, oh, Dallas lost. Like, I didn't expect them to win last night. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, oh my God, we lost. The season's over. Like, I didn't expect us to win last night. I didn't expect us to win this season. Going into the season, I didn't expect us to win this game in Philadelphia. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, oh, the season's over because we lost. No. Dallas is still in the hunt. They're still in the running. And you look at the next 3 games for the Cowboys, it's pretty much a joke schedule. I think they have Texans, Cardinals, and Seahawks.
You got Detroit too. You got Detroit.
and Detroit, which is
Christmas present.
I mean, everything is rolling well. It's gonna come down to Thanksgiving Day against the Giants.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that.
Oh, listen, the Giants got the same schedule. We have Texans on the schedule. We have Seattle on the schedule. We have who else is there?
The Jaguar.
We have Jaguars next week. We have the Jaguars next week. We have the Lions also, and then it comes down where Thanksgiving Day night, whatever is in Arlington, baby.
It's gonna be back to being old school NFC East football, where all you have to do is win the division games, because out of the division doesn't matter.
Hey, what year was that, Deets and was when all three of y'all went to the playoffs? It was like 2011 or something like that. 12. Remember that it was y'all. It was the Ravens.
Well, last year 3 made it, didn't it?
Was it?
No, yeah, 3 teams made it last year. Didn't Washington make it last year?
No, Washington didn't make the playoffs.
Oh, it was just you and just Phillies.
It's just Eagles, Cowboys made it last year. I believe the last time all 3 were in. The only one I really remember was when
I think it was RG was there. All 3 went. I could be mistaken though.
I don't think so. I don't think the Cowboys were in that year. I don't think the Cowboys or the Giants were in that year. The one I remember is when it was when the Giants won the Super Bowl. And it was Dallas Giants and the Eagles had gotten in, and it was Dallas Giants in the first round, and Strahan had the sack on Romo and then the pick 6 like the very next play. And that started the Giants' whole run to the Super Bowl.
Hey, Wise, do you feel Harbaugh? I think it was Harbaugh and Greg Roman messed that whole game up. I feel that like that last play did not make any sense by them.
Listen, it was, I don't know, because Andrews had a great game. They got it tight end. Kenyon Drake had a hell of a game, ran his ass off. But I can't speak on them. I don't know. The Ravens,
That was a good script sack. Whoever got that. Who's that?
That was Thibodeau. That was our rookie.
I'm telling you right now, the reason the Ravens lost that game is because of Lamar Jackson. Is because Lamar Jackson was trying to do too much.
And that's what happens when you ask when you ask them to do too much. You got to be like Daniel Jones. We just need him to be a manager. You have Saquon Barkley.
You know what he gave me yesterday? He gave me Phil Simms game managing. That's what I felt yesterday.
And don't throw the ball. Don't throw the ball to the other team. He got bailed out. That Marcus Peters interception.
You can't say Peters. You can't say Marcus Peters wasn't on him as well.
Yeah.
Marcus Peters. That interception. I watched that play.
You can't see Marcus Peters wasn't on him and twisted him a little. So
the dude, the wide receiver stiff-armed him in the face. Stiff-armed him in the face, and they called defensive pass interference. I have no idea how that's defensive pass interference.
It was. He did a Brownsville robbery on him. I saw Brownsville robbery.
I didn't see nothing. I ain't seen nothing.
And not for nothing.
All I seen was Marcus Peters.
Daniel Jones did throw the ball. Like even though the guy stiff-armed Marcus Peters, Daniel Jones still threw the ball right to Marcus Peters for no reason. Like. The throw for that throw was supposed to be on the outside, and Daniel Jones threw it right to Marcus Peters.
I don't know why he just didn't run.
He got bailed out. He got bailed out badly on that one. And granted, y'all won the game.
Great win.
As we said, Daniel Jones, you can't do that. No. You can't throw the ball to the other team.
He can't be giving away. He can't be giving away the game. That was what's being key prior to that play, but in the comeback against the Packers, the defense did what they were supposed to do. Mm-hmm. The offense got going, and that's what I feel we need to work on is getting the offense going early, not waiting to the second half to start scoring all our points.
Hey, Wise, do you think we should buy the Jets? Or should we just sell it, or just keep them on hold?
Because I've been selling on. I've been buying the Jets since the beginning. Since the beginning of camp, I talk about the Jets since the draft.
Hmm.
If you go back to older episodes of Snowman in the Morning, and when we're talking football, I'm talking Jets.
Mm-hmm.
You can ask Cole. You can ask any of them.
Mm-hmm.
I was boosting the Jets more than I was boosting the Giants. And one of the reasons was because of the running back.
I see you're in the lab real quick. I see you in the lab right now. So, do you feel like your Yankees are going to get it done tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Y'all going to get it done tonight?
We home. But on the Jets, man, getting that running back, Breece Hall has changed the dynamics for him on offense, man.
He's a freak.
Because he does it all. He catches the rock. He runs the rock. Then you give Michael Carter the ball. He has weapons. Zach, that was the thing that Flacco didn't have the talent that Zach Wilson had. He doesn't have the arm strength Zach Wilson has, and he doesn't have the mobility that Zach Wilson has. So, and now you add a Breece Hall to it. You have Corey Davis playing well. Santana Garrett is not. He's all right. He hasn't had a.
You have Braxton. You have Braxton Berrios.
Braxton Berrios
now in the right spot. I mean,
yes, you have Braxton Berrios
running. They've had Braxton Berrios on the outside. Now he can go to the slot where he's absolutely dominating
and do those reverses.
Garrett Wilson's on the outside.
Yeah, you have Garrett Wilson. You have Corey Davis on the other side, and so,
yeah, Corey Davis is your wide. He's put wide, but the other side you can have Garrett. You have Garrett Wilson, and now you have Braxton Berrios that can be in the slot. He can take those jet sweeps. He's a difference maker in that way. He's not a wide receiver that's going to line up wide and beat you. He's a Wes Welker type wide receiver. That's exactly what he is.
With a little bit more speed.
A lot more speed.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Braxton, and the dude can run. He has some jets on him. He's just a small guy, but he has some jets on him.
Hey, Wise, what do you have coming up, man? I see you in the lab. What you got coming up, man?
I got a show coming up today at 5.
What is it about, man? Because I see you working.
Well, we just did snow. I just did Snowman in the morning. I was there earlier.
Oh, also, Snowman, you gotta stop blocking me in the chat, man. Somebody blocking me in the chat. I'm blackballed.
I don't know. I don't do the chats, so I don't know
Somebody
about
blackballed me out the chat. It's cool though. I still support. LeBron's still the best.
That's what gets you blocked. That's why you get blocked.
That's why you get blocked right
That's
there.
why you get blocked in the chat.
That. We don't want to hear those LeBron.
Hey, all I can say is Bronny's better than both his sons.
Well, dude, the NBA season is starting.
What's your first game, Raj?
Wednesday.
Who's your Knicks' first game?
Grizzly. We play Memphis.
Memphis. It's on ESPN and Ja Morant.
He's a freak.
Ja.
He Rose 2.0.
He's definitely a special talent, man.
You think RJ Barrett have a good season this year?
Yes, he will.
I like Obi though. I like Obi.
I'm excited for what the Knicks have, man. I'm glad we didn't trade for Donovan Mitchell. I'm glad we didn't trade for any of the guys we traded. I'm glad that they finally decided that they're gonna run with their horses, man. They got some young talent there. You got Grimes, who we drafted last year. He's gonna play. Hopefully, he'll play a big part. We have McBride as well. But then we got IQ. We got Obi Toppin, RJ Barrett. Julius Randle slimmed down, looks in much better shape. Mitchell Robinson the other day had a double with 20 points and like 15 boards. And the big pickup, we finally have a point guard, man. I love Derrick Rose, but Derrick Rose needs to run with the second unit, needs to help with the second unit. But Jalen Brunson is a true point guard, and I'm excited what he can bring to the table.
I also like the young boy from out my way, Emmanuel Quickly.
Yeah,
definitely a good spark plug.
He can shoot the ball from anywhere on the court, man.
Definitely a good spark plug.
He can definitely score. He's definitely a shooter. He can shoot from anywhere on the court. And when it comes to taking it to the hole, he can also drive to the basket. He's improving on his passing skills. He wants to show that he's not just a shooter. He wants to show that he's also a true point guard. He wants to be able to that he can dish the rock out. So, and having Obi Toppin to lob the ball up too doesn't hurt either.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we said it earlier. The East is so compact.
There's a lot of talented teams in the East.
I mean, you're talking Miami. I've said I love that Miami team. Milwaukee with the freak, with the freak, and if Middleton stays healthy with those two, they can dominate.
Not
anybody.
Just those two, even because you also have
Lopez. You have
Lopez. You have the Greek freak. You have what the hell is the point guard's name?
Drew Holiday.
Holiday. You have Holiday. You have some pieces there. You have some players there that are champions. They've won titles.
Yeah. I mean, those are two. You got the Boston Celtics just played in the championship. Who knows what's going on?
Yeah, see, that's
on the court. They're fine. It's what's going on off the court.
Is that going to be a distraction? Is it going to be because? Look how long it took them to get it together under Ime Udoka. They didn't turn it around to after the All-Star break, right?
Yeah. That's why I said the Celtics are up and down. Who knows?
It took them
the
half the season.
76ers, Joel Embiid can play at an MVP level. If they can put it together, if Brooklyn can just stop, if Brooklyn can get out of their own way. They're there.
the
The
same
Knicks,
line.
the Knicks are going to be improved. The Bulls are right there. That's eight teams. That's 8 teams we just mentioned
Oh, you're not even
that
counting.
all have a shot.
And
if
you
they
forgot
get in.
Charlotte. You got Charlotte. Charlotte has
Charlotte.
some young studs on there. You have Cleveland that now got Donovan Mitchell. They got Jared Allen. They got
everybody loves Cleveland this year too.
They got Evan Mobley. Cleveland has some studs.
You got 9 or 10 teams. Those are all your playoff teams. Every playoff team.
And we haven't even mentioned the Raptors.
Exactly, the Raptors, and the Raptors have a head coach that knows how to navigate things, so they can get. The East is going to be it's going to be hard all year long, and anybody can win from any position in the East.
All right, this has been Midday Sports with Rod. Also, Christine, what you got coming up? You said Thursday.
Thursday, 7 o'clock. We're going to start our going at 7 o'clock because I don't care about Thursday night football anymore. I don't care. So we're doing our show.
And why does you say you got something at 5?
Yep, I got a show coming up at 5 p.m. today on my YouTube channel as well as my Facebook page. Actually, my guest is gonna be Craig Thorne. He's a podcaster and he's also interviewed a lot of. He's a journalist who's interviewed quite a few celebrities and athletes and stuff. So tune in today.
This has been Midday Sports with Rod and the Lunch Crew. I had Fifth Down Sports, Chris Dietz on, Wise Al Harafe with the Wise production. You have a good rest of y'all day, gentlemen. I appreciate y'all time.
All right, thanks for having me, bud.
Peace out, brother.
Out.